Hello and welcome back to Rogue Trader. We are heading deep into the bowels of the ship today as we do a little bit of the Void Shadows DLC and start exploring what kind of nasty stuff is going down on the freight line. I guess for now we can keep taking Solomort. I kind of want to take Argenta. I feel like Pascal is really useful on the ship though, and I can never not have Abelard. He's just too good. So I guess this is our team for now. At least maybe until we get some more heretics. So our quest right now for Cabela is we're trying to go find the leader of the blood cult. And we have to walk the path of the Matriarch Spider down on the lower decks. Welcome to Freight Hub, Lord Captain. I am Edok Frensoe, Captain of the Enforcers in the lower deck. The Master at Arms has assigned me to be your liaison for the duration of your stay here. This sturdy man is built with an augmented jaw, standing at attention. The dark circles under his eyes speak to many sleepless nights, but his voice is loud and spirited. Lord Captain, would you like to inspect the control room or begin your search for the Temple of the Bloodspun Web? Just thinking about the prospect of walking around the lower decks wounds your refined senses. Because we're noble. Your mind conjures vivid images of filth and poverty hanging in the air, seeping out of every crack, gnawing their way through your skin. It seems you were prepared for my visit. How did you and Sourback know I was coming? The Master at Arms ordered us to be on standby after the Bloodspun Web openly invited you to visit their temple. We've been awaiting your arrival every day since. Do you know how to reach the temple? I'm sorry, Captain, I do not. No one knows. The cultists are too adept at hiding and keeping their secrets, and it worries me that you might have to walk around the entire compartment looking for the temple. Why are you worried? Is there a problem? The lower decks are not suitable for someone of your status. It's not just the grime and crowds of brutish laborers. I suspect the entrance to the Temple of Death is hidden in some dark corner where you might encounter criminals or other contagious outcasts. With the kind of riffraff that dwells there, you might even be attacked. To put it bluntly, although the bay performs its functions well, even its more civilized sections are sorely lacking in discipline. I was only assigned recently, so I haven't had time to straighten everything up. Since doing so will require making some serious changes, I am not inventing excuses, Captain. As the officer in charge, I fully accept responsibility for what takes place. Being assigned here seems like exile. Did you commit an infraction? I shall conduct an inspection and offer you my assistance. Yeah, let's kind of insult him. No, Lord Captain, quite the opposite. I was commended for my service. This compartment has always been a troublesome one, and the Master at Arms assigned me here because she thought highly of my merits. I am honored to have earned Mistress Sourback's trust. What do the lower deck officers think of Jocasta Sourback? She possesses all the personal and professional qualities required to lead the Enforcer's efficiency. He enunciates each word with pride, but you note drops of sweat on his brow. Rejoice, Frensoe, for the Lord Captain himself has deigned to deal with your problems. No, I am here on business. I have no intention of staying any longer than I need to. Tell me about this station. Connects the lower freight decks to monitor the flow of labor forces. Who maintains it as traffic controllers, technomats of the machine cult. Also enforcers, a team of inferni and clerks. Not every void ship boasts of its own railway. Usually higher class ships are the ones that get trains, but it's far from the greatest thing a rogue trader's warrant can see done. The credit here goes to Lady Theodora's predecessor, on whose orders the AdMech assisted in birthing the miracle of sacred engines from the womb of the dynasty's flagship. Alright, what's the situation? Most of the locals unload trains and sort provisions. We give maintenance jobs to the more capable ones. The rest are reserve workforce. Whenever crew are lost on deck, we find replacements from among the rats. More than enough volunteers to work for rations. Cause me no trouble? The rabble are base in nature and mutiny is always in their minds. They steal whatever they can, and lately they've moved from rations to tinned food and weapons. We confiscate these regularly and keep the serfs meek and terrified. The bastards do on a regular basis build their shacks in front of service tunnel entrances. That has delayed the arrival of Infernus brigades during several emergencies, caused air and power supply problems in adjacent bays, burned the saboteurs along with their shacks, but they keep pressing on regardless. Mutinous rabble, how paranoid of you. Being paranoid is practically a requirement in our line of work. Take my word for it. The cult of the Bloodspun Web has presence in this compartment. The enforcers do not bar them from carrying out their sacred duties, as irregular as it is to have armed crew members set up secret hideouts forbidden to the enforcers. Do you not take issue with the death cultists killing people in your territory? I do, Lord Captain, but the cult is authorized to exist, which means their activities down there are not to be interfered with. I don't know much about them, but I'm always trying to learn more, given that they like to pay visits to my compartment. The Spinners honor the Emperor through death. They kill notorious retrobates and heretics. Sometimes they kill righteous folks, and other times seemingly at random. The rituals are morbid and their prayers are strange. Anyone not initiated would struggle to make sense of it. Be steadfast in your duty, Capitan. Cool. So this is like a whole major section of the ship, I guess. Who would introduce you to the greater demons if Abelard wasn't there? Exactly. That's why we have to keep him with us at all times. Also, he's unkillable, so if everything goes wrong, he at least stays standing. Sometimes that's the more important part. Have you heard? Henry's come to visit. What's this? I see a dagger. Is that blood? It can't be. We've scrubbed the deck 3 times before the rogue trader came. Void, take me. The captain will have our heads. No, blood for the blood god. That's fine. Is this the welcome you give the rogue trader? Whoever had the audacity to leave this behind, this appalling symbol will see to it that the Master-at-Arms calls themselves to account herself. Damn those. How did they even... Thanks to Adira's high awareness, you've seen this sort of symbol before. Death cultists carve bleeding marks like this into their own skin. Cabela carves the same symbol on the back of her hand with a knife and whispers a prayer. Dominant Biggest Turg, remember the sign. It is the beginning of your quest, the first blood trail. Do you know what this mark is? One of the symbols associated with the Bloodspun Web, the Song of Trailing Blood. We've heard spinners say it when they perform their signature acts of service. The soundless shadows sank into the dark, slashed feet crescendo, a fatal dance. Blade song and tempo, each edge an echo, twin odes to death throes. Now on her sacred blood, as she once trod the backs of foes, tread countless souls, but none who know. Why did you memorize this song? I made sure to familiarize myself when I took up my post here. Particular qualities of this compartment. I soon heard about the verse and decided to investigate. Questioned a number of people who followed the web as I was trying to figure out if there was anything pernicious about it. Eventually learned the whole thing. Words are strange, but nothing worse than that. Something like a prayer with several verses about the life of one of the cult's saints, the Matriarch Spider. So I'm invited to follow a trail of blood.
I tread a path unexplored.
I really hope we can corrupt these guys to corn.
But how can one never board the flagship only to turn? Or that gives it life?
This core can just as easily take a life.
Oh. Sorry. This is the last of the hub's vials for this work cycle. Do you have any idea how much this costs? I don't. Yeah, 57 ration cards. It's all I've got, I swear. Spent the rest on Rotgut again, I'm guessing. I'm not doing you any more favors. Give up the drink or get used to life in the pestilence pit. That sounds like a good place to worship Nurgle. Man, we got all the cults down here. I hope you get hit by a train. Ah, I see some goods here for me to rob. Thank you, sir.
Let's seize the opportunity.
Sir Quartermaster. The rotting guts of someone unfortunate to be flattened by a train, like listening on the track. Ah. The longer you stare at the mark, the quieter the sounds of the station become. The shadows grow longer and seem to stretch in the direction of the adjoining station. Man, this place is bumping.
The world trembles beneath my
Infernus
feet.
Brigade. Mercy, save me! The young man gasps for air through burnt lips, slipping in and out of delirium. His skin is dripping from his gaunt body like melting wax from a candle. His eyes, somehow intact, alive, clear, and filled with pain, stare at you from under his caked eyelids. What do you know about the mark next to you? A spinner came. He painted the symbol. Then he gave me water and whispered a strange verse. He told me to memorize it and to recite it later so that help would come. And here you are. Then I should. He begins to whisper, his lips twisted in pain. To soot smirched soul her mercy did she grant. Last breath expressed, knife met heart. Removed from chest, passed on to death. Her duty blessed, a balm for those who suffer anguish and distress. A longing brought to rest, of mortal bonds the soul divest. Clearly I meant to kill this guy. Assess the man's chance of survival. He might survive, but he will be maimed for life. Too much of his muscle has been charred down to the bone. Even if he does retain some ability to move, pain will be his constant companion. His motor skills will be damaged beyond repair. A broken man or a corpse, time will soon tell. The chances of this unit surviving are slim. Function usefulness in the event of stabilization of vital processes is minimal. Disposable is recommended. Well, I'm going to take the heretical option, but who are you? A cleaner. I was in my house asleep and forcers came and set fire to it. Wonder how long he's been sitting out here. A watch? 3? The whispers say nobody cared because he didn't matter, but they also say he's somehow supposed to matter to us. Well, all of us must face our fated outcomes. No, please, I beg you. Some good old-fashioned heresy.
Will bow.
How get up here this way? Oh, we gotta do an athletics check. This character suffers a -10 penalty to all skills. A foray into the world of the lower decks is a great trial for any highborn figure. That's so funny. I take a penalty from being here?
That was a good idea.
Feet.
Wow, everybody failed except for Adira. Stack of ration cards and a charred scrap of parchment. Pass the marketplace. Make sure the enforcers don't you or you'll ruin entire operation. On the tracks behind, you'll find a little gift for. Give it to him and you'll see for yourself. Interesting.
An expected result.
Embrace true power.
Oh, there's so many ways to go. A flute player? A group of gawkers are crowding around a makeshift stage, watching a strange duo perform. A man with odd-looking goggles pushed up on his forehead, hands wrapped in worn leather gloves, plays a tune on a handmade flute. Next to him sits a stack of crates supporting a game board. A scruffy brat is rolling small balls around on the board. I love this little shadow play. Several workers empty their pockets and start throwing ration cards, bolt nuts, even a few power panels into the small chest next to the board. The flute player winks at the crowd and switches to a different tune. The rat squeaks excitedly and starts rolling the colorful balls the players have chosen around the maze of tunnels, but not a single one reaches the goal, a hole marked with a red circle. The rat just rolls the ball off the board and into dead ends. Once the first group of players get their hopes dashed and leave empty-handed, new workers immediately take their place. Listen to the tune. The rat's movement from the flicks of its tail to when and where it pushes the ball obey its master's wordless commands with uncanny precision. The notes, the pauses, the rhythm, every part of the melody serves as a signal to the flute player's tiny assistant. Watch the rat. The rat's behavior is erratic and mindless. When it rolls yet another ball right past the goal, the crowd groans loudly and starts laughing at the loser. Toss a coin into the chest. The crowd, which has been too absorbed in the performance to notice your presence, turns to you, expressions of frightful awe appearing in the workers' faces. Many start whispering prayers. The flute player's clear eyes widen in surprise, then an open and friendly smile. He says, many a grand story of the Lord Captain's generosity is told, and I swear on my own flute today I will add another. To the fortune peddler, the Lord Captain's grace is a gift from fate itself. Perhaps you would like to trade us some of the captain's fortune of yours. The flute player bows respectively and gestures at the game board. Who are you? I am one of many, a voice in the crowd, a cog in the machine, his humble servant. Flute player is all they call me, because that is what I am. I make up tunes and give the people respite. So good. Curious looking flute. My mother loved music. She used to hum beautiful melodies, and when she passed away, I carved this flute from her hip bone and learned to play. Wow, that's 40k for you. Out of sorrow and respect for her memory. Play one of the local favorites for me. The flute player smiles mysteriously and brings the flute to his lip. A simple, brisk melody pours out of the instrument. The glum faces of workers and traders soften a little, and the tunnels around you seem less squalid than before. Long after the music has stopped, many continue to whistle the unassuming ditty. A flute needs no words to sing, but I'm curious to know what story your melody tells. The story of a simple man from the lower decks, honest with himself and others. He risks his life to protect the oppressed and those corrupted by power. He takes from the rich, gives to the needy. He helps without asking anything in return. Nemesite, hero of tales, admired by the children and grown folk alike. A fairy tale, risking yourself for nothing. If such a man existed, he would surely be profiting from your misfortunes and secrets. By opposing legitimate authority, your vile Nemesite tramples on the creed. Everyone who glorifies him is a criminal. Now, let's pretend that he would totally just be mean, just steal from people. The people look at each other in shock upon hearing the unpalatable fact of life. Their joy evaporates, leaving only the bitterness of disappointment. I think the song just died, but I won't despair. Life always suggests new melodies that people will like. Just a jerk, man. Oh, that's a really nice song. Here's why it sucks. Please bless this little lark with your attention. All right, explain the rules of the game to me. On this board, you play with fate. Choose a ball and give it to Bolts. If she rolls your ball into the pocket marked in red within 3 minutes, you win. If she doesn't, you lose. Cheat. Yeah, that's what we would do. The man readies his flute and the rat dives under the board. You hear clawed feet scrabbling against the crate, and a few minutes later, a green ball pops out of the center. The rat starts chasing the ball around the board. Every now and then, you accidentally bump the board to scare the rat, making it run in the direction you want. Right at the end, the ball somehow misses the hole by air's breadth. This happens again and again until finally the ball hits a dead end, signifying your defeat. Another round, your lordship. You know, I've heard wise visitors from higher up say that this little game offers more than just amusement. They say it's an opportunity to test different strategies, to learn more about others and yourself. Cut a button from your sleeve and throw it to the man. Or do we just keep cheating? Let's try playing fair. We learned a lot about it. Green ball pops out. Again, the ball hits a dead end. I'm gonna try cheating again. Would you like to play again, or was that enough? I can respect a man who is cheating, everybody. I will give him a button. A generous gift. Your folks will shower me in ration cars to get their hand on something that belonged to your lordship. Fortune gave me the brightest of smiles today. I hope you enjoyed yourself. I won't forget our fateful meeting.
Compared to naval service, that was barely a challenge.
Now we'll rob this sewer. Here's another one of these mercs. All right, well, I want to maybe explore down here first then. Servitors. Heinrich Montag. Whoa. Trains. Kind of funny have you loot your own ship. I know, man. I'm always looting stuff that we already own. the Infernus Master. Captain, what an unexpected encounter. What brings you to this compartment? Famous cuisine and magnificent vistas, no doubt. What are you doing here? I'm here to patch up Savage, locomotive number 3, under the tech priest supervision. The old grump is my personal favorite. Every couple of years, she gets mad and her boiler catches fire and starts spitting steam. Guess who they call to take care of it? The Inferni, of course. After I've done all the most dangerous work, that's where the Iron Brains come in. When he's in a good mood, the feeling you get standing at the levers and speeding down the freight lane is undescribable. I envy those tech priest drivers who get to operate them every day. The roar, the boiler, the wheels thumping like mad, the furious power pulsing in your hands. How about I introduce you? I can't turn down an offer like that. Just because I'm a mean rogue trader doesn't mean I can't like trains. The panel before you is covered with technical runes, lumens, and levers. The platform shakes with the boiler's mighty vibration as the iron beast beneath your feet growls and snorts. Heinrich squints. The machine is angry and refuses to obey. Right now, Savage is powered only by auxiliary maneuvering engine. We need to start the main rotor if we want to take a trip down the freight line. Initiating the train blessing algorithm. Let not corrosive wear separate the wheel set. Let the traction drive receive the touch of the motive force granted by the invisible hand of the Omnisire. Let his grace strengthen the joints and support the lift the body above the decay of mortal tracks. Hear me, driver, and praise the machine god thrice, for it is only by his will that the miracle of sacred locomotion is complete. The blessing has been successfully executed. The question remains, can we suplex the train? Hell yes. Only in the finest games. Livy, welcome back. Oh, sorry. Payne, welcome back. Wait. Back, welcome back. The power throbbing in your hands? Oh my. Listen to the rumbling noise coming from the boiler. It does seem remarkably similar to a wild beast. The roar of the mechanism that resembles a horse growling, and the scarlet glow of the lumens on the control panel make you think of a malicious glare of a predator. The machine spirit is vicious, strong, and lively. Grab the biggest lever. A deafening clang resounds from his inners, and the train shudders underfoot as if preparing to leap forward. Whoa, careful, your lordship. Don't let this monster smash us against the nearest wall. Put your hand on the big lever and gently give it a pull. Very gently. Savage does not like being hassled. Stroke the lever. A few erratic jolts shake the platform, and an indignant groan emanates from the depths of the machine. Man, the writers, Owlcat writers are some horny. I gotta tell you, an intense shudder passes through the lever and into the palm of your hand, and there's a strange feeling of emptiness in your stomach. Savage's fiery heart is stirring. Do you feel it? There's so much energy and defiance in him. This is not a rocket, not a locomotive, unruly and enamored with speed, but quite willing to submit to a strong hand. Pull the lever towards you, smooth but firm, then pump the fuel with this command rune. Can we hit on Heinrich? I'm just going to hit on everybody. Unruly and defiant, but submits to a strong hand, much like yourself. A roguish gleam appears in his eyes. You don't say. Pump it. A new explosion inside Savage shakes his iron body, causing your eyes to see double from the vibration. Now you're feeling the real power. He can run down the entire freight lane in a minute, given the chance, and kill everyone who rides him at that speed. Try applying some thrust to the main rotor. Grab those paired levers and give him a firm tug. Yeah, I'll tug it. A torrent of steam bursts from the slit in front of your eyes, but Heinrich deftly covers you with his shoulder. A moment later, you realize you can't hear a thing. Or rather, you only hear one thing, the roar of the engine. Looks like Savage has agreed not to kill us both. His tech priest guardians will be pleased. All hail the Lord Captain. You've subdued a mighty beast today. And now I'm sure you have urgent business to attend to. It's time for me to drive Savage down this line and see if he's feeling cranky. Oh, should we go down the freight line? This is just smut at this stage? Admech smut. This is Admech smut, yes. Gonna have to censor this whole episode. Admech erotica. This is why my game queue is full of gacha hentai games. Let's ride this guy. Savage is not dangerous, but not dangerous ends right here. He might pull a stunt and bake us to death during the ride. It'd be better for the ship to not lose another Lord Captain. Well, that was most intriguing, Heinrich. I am pleased. Have a good trip. Whew. I'm sweaty. Time Warren Loader is barely fit for purpose at this point. What else we got going on down here? Doors? There's loot in these doors.
My success is an irrefutable certainty.
Can't be just leaving that loot about. Now, how do I get onto the tracks? Because they said that there was loot on the tracks. And there very clearly is loot on the tracks. Glory to the house, to the Lord Captain.
Look no further.
Dead man. That guy doesn't look that dead to me. Excuse me, dead man. A sinewy middle-aged man watches the bustle of the bay with a detached expression. Every so often, his eyes linger on the blood mark inscribed nearby. His face changes strangely and his hands clench into fists. Just as you begin to hear the rumble of the approaching train, the man turns towards the track and leans forward. Abelard, do something. In the name of the dynasty, I command you to step away from the age and explain the misdeed you are about to commit. What? I didn't. The man starts and almost falls, but manages to keep his balance. In the dim lumen light, you notice old scars scattered all across his body. The scars all seem vaguely familiar. I am registering this unit's intention to use the train tracks for purposes other than those intended by its design. I categorically demand that this unit's self-disposal be carried out using methods that do not violate the catechism of maintenance and operation. Look at his scars. The scars all vary in length, width, and depth and shape. You notice a pattern in the way that the scars are aligned, as well as a series of faded symbols on the man's rough skin. Death cultists bear similar marks. Spinners are constantly renewing their wounds, while this man's look long since healed. Who are you? A dead man. I lost my name years ago. You dare insult the Trogue Raider with your impudence? Your body may be covered in scars, but your tongue seems to be asking for more. What do you know about this symbol? Symbol of the Bloodspun Web. I come here every day, every watch, but it hasn't been here before. I guess today must be a special day. His man's eyes go wide as he notices Cabela. You, have you come to take me to the other side? I do not know you. Death's gaze is not upon you. Then why is it here? You know the symbols of the Bloodspun Web and bear similar scars. Are you a spinner? I was, but I failed to complete my final assignment, so I was exiled from the cult. The vizier told me to kill the one who would be at a certain junction of the utility tunnels at a certain hour. I went to the appointed spot, and then I waited an hour, 2, 5. The junction's still empty. Nobody came. After hours of waiting, I finally realized the person at the junction had been me the whole time. It was my turn to go to the Undying One, but I was afraid and couldn't do my duty, and I ran. You were ordered to die? For what reason? But some would choose to leave the righteous path. Those earned penance in due time. Her whip sings vengeance on renegade menace. Her blades pass sentence. For cowards seek to hide their hearts, but death makes no pretendance. It takes what it is due in essence. He stops and then adds hoarsely. The third verse of the Song of Trailing Blood. The vizier recited it to me before sending me on my final assignment. I didn't realize at the time that it was my judgment. There were plenty of reasons. I sowed death. I offered him the souls of the most pleasing men and women I could find because it kindled my passions. I killed well-off crewmen who didn't deserve their wealth, and I took their thrones. I killed enforcers who looked into my eyes without fear because I wanted to be feared. I reveled in bloodshed. I betrayed the tenants. I realized it, but I couldn't help because I enjoyed it. Oh, you poor thing. I think I'm going to cry. You couldn't stop slicing people up? That must have been so hard for you. Even my whispers have nothing to say to a pathetic tale like that. I bet they're thinking what a lousy, self-absorbed sack of scum. I have a heretical option. As the Emperor's anointed, I hereby overturn the Vizier's verdict. A cult ruined your life, and for what? For a few mere killings? I mean, I want to ask him all these other questions. Have you killed any more innocent souls since you ran? No, afraid to touch my own knife since that day. Thought it might stab me. You don't sound very remorseful. I spent years in remorse. I am tired of it. So the spinners simply let you go? There was no pursuit. I thought I'd see their black blades the very next day, but years passed without them taking my heart. I started a new life, but the terror never stopped eating away at me. When I truly got desperate, I went to the Temple of Death myself, but no one there would speak to me. They just whispered when I told them my name that Separate has gone to the Undying One. They looked through me like I wasn't even there. I've lived like this for 20 years, like a coward, like a dead man. Yeah, as the Emperor's anointment, I overturned the Vizier's verdict. Yeah, you're right, Lord Captain. The Vizier taught me to serve, to kill. I did what I was chosen to do, and they punished me for it. They've kept me living in fear my whole life. The man's colorless eyes fill with malice. Thank you for opening my eyes. It's time for Separate to return, and for the dead man to disappear along with his creators. Cabela appears behind you and watches the man leave. He severed souls from bodies before their fated time, not because he honored death, but because he enjoyed killing. He did not have that right. No one does. What about the Chaos Gods? They have that right. You guys breaking the grudge book? Feel like messages are too serious if they don't end with an emote? I mean, that's why I have them. The emotes are for you. Emotes are made for chat. Though they're also a little bit for me, because I love my emotes. Ooh. People just leaving ration cards around. Best way to break you would be put the chat into emote only mode. Don't give them too many ideas. How many times do I need to tell you, ungrateful maggots, mistakes must be paid for? Have mercy in the throne's name, I beg of you. Was this like one guard against, what, 50 crewmen? The battered worker throws himself at your feet and touches the toe of your boot with his dirty palms. Oh, he's dead. Your gracious lordship, hand to the god emperor, save your unworthy servant. Get lost. The emperor's heavy baton pummels the man's back and shoulders. His bones crack audibly. Your boot, I'll clean it right away. Number of discontent breaks among the gawkers who have gathered around. None of the workers dare come closer, but the anger on their face is plain to see. Out of my way, you blasted filth. I'm sorry, please. I'm sorry. It hurts so much. With a crutch, your boot breaks the bridge of the man's nose. Low, incessant dissent begins to rise in the crowd, only to die back down as soon as the enforcers brandish their batons. The murmur immediately turns into pleas for mercy. A sullen, red-bearded man with keen black eyes draws your attention. His oddly piercing gaze seems to size you up the whole time you were speaking, but now he has hastened to conceal himself behind the gawkers. The next thing you know, you are watching him hurry deeper into the tunnels. Oh, yes, 12. This time I'm going to break 13 of your fingers and ribs as a lesson for your slimy accomplices. Very good.
I tread a path unexplored.
Let's keep treading.
A soldier would have been disciplined for such a performance.
Abelard. Lord Captain, this container weighs as much as the whole train. Perhaps you'd like to use the cargo crane. The container does not budge, but you hear an unpleasant crunch in your lower back. Oh, man. That's Gene Stealer propaganda for sure.
Embrace true power.
I'm certain of it. What, there's a door here with nothing in it? So Abelard is fatigued now. There's also a door there. Damn. I bet there's something good behind that.
Nothing's impossible for this old officer.
Oh man, Abelard, thank you, dude.
Told me a secret.
More ration cards, more stuff. I guess they wouldn't hide like a weapon or something behind a skill check.
Will bow.
Maybe?
Operation successful.
Goods behind that door? What kind of goods we talking about? Thief leader. People are eagerly rummaging through a rack filled with weapons from the Enforcer's arsenal. A big man with pockmarked face is the first to react to your presence. Who are you? You're not supposed to be anyone. Oh, that doesn't matter. Identify yourself. Take a look at the suspicious individuals. Makeshift armor peeks out from beneath their ragged clothes, and their battered weapons display a patchwork of crude repairs. The group stares longingly at the rack where the good plasteel gleams, restlessly clutching their humble weapons. You notice that the little finger on every person's right hand has been cut off. Hardly a coincidence. Abelard, help these wretches realize the full extent of their unenviable position. Before you stands Lord Captain Biggest Turg von Valentius, master of this vessel and everything on it, including those goods you are pawing at with your unwashed hands and your miserable lives as well. The people turn to stare at you in disbelief and exchange heated whispers. The excitement is interrupted by the leader's roar. What are you gopping up? Hurry up and bend your backs as is right and proper. Your lordship, you must excuse these blockheads. I was taken aback myself. It's not every day you see the rogue trader in the flesh. And as for this, I won't insult you but deny it. You caught us red-handed. Who are you? The Hard Nines gang. I mean, Brotherhood from Transport Bay 9. I don't think we're parasites. We do a bit for the prosperity of the ship. We're sort of assistants to the Enforcers, self-appointed. We make sure that order is maintained in compartments where the Enforcers are too lazy or greedy for bribes. We put a stop to robbery and free thinking, and well, we accept a small contribution as a show of thanks. Even shooting them feels like a waste of bullets. I doubt these bottom-feeding degenerates have ever heard of the Lex in their lives. The Lex, eh? What kind of crew is that? They with the rust rats from Freight 10? Or the pipe runners from the main sorting hub? I like these guys. I already picked the goods that were behind the seemingly useless door. Interesting. Too lazy to accept bribes is pretty good. Why do you want weapons? Are you going to rebel? To do business. We're no rebels. If anyone blasphemes against your lordship, we call the troublemakers to order, and we shed blood for the flagship without fear. I suppose that makes us defenders of the ship? He looks at you questioningly. Why stop there? You might as well call yourself saints and say the fate of the whole dynasty rests on your shoulders. Are the Enforcers providing cover for you? I wish. Frensoe and the newly appointed captain had our informant strung up. He's tightening the screws, damn it, but we can barely breathe. Today's the last time we'll come pick over this compartment. What's up with your little fingers being cut off? A gang's initiation rite, a fine tradition, but voluntarily removing a finger, the newcomer shows their determination and willingness to join us forever. It's also a badge of honor. All right, yeah, take the weapons. Serve the ship well. One day I will realize the depths and wisdom of your decision, Lord Captain, but in the meantime, I pray that this act does not come back to haunt you. You hear that, boys? Lord Captain himself is expecting good things from us. We can't let him down. His cronies make sounds of approval. We'll fulfill your command to the letter. Look at me, arming the thugs of the ship. Slowly turning from gang to cockney. Yeah, that's natural. Ooh, a ripper. I think I already have one of these. I do. Now I have two. Get out of here. You guys can't be robbing my compartment. I need to rob this compartment.
Let's seize the opportunity.
There's one thing I know about 40k is that everyone who is like a hiver or an underganger, they are all variations of cockney. The trail leads towards the slums. The slums. All right, let's get these goods first. And then it's time to start slumming it. Or an orc. Yeah, that's true. Gang wars that spice up the bellows anyway. Oh, is that the rogue trader? Oh. Knife fights. The kids have been waiting for you. How was your shift? Oh, are my kids waiting for me? No, my shift was okay, honey. We worked hard. I helped out a friend with the loading and he gave me some cards. Take them in exchange for some new shoes. Yours are all worn out. Man, I bet nothing bad is going to happen to these two lovely, caring parents that put in extra time and work and get ration cards. Oh, thank you. I've already made your bed for you, so once we've eaten, you can go and rest. The little ends and I'll head out to the marketplace. Leave you in peace. It's another beautiful day on this glorious ship where nothing bad ever happens. Except these guys who are just knifing each other in the background. Why did the Emperor send me such a wonderful wife? Probably the same reason I got sent such a wonderful husband.
Tremble.
Don't gop, it's a rogue trader. What do we got down here? Ooh, stinkiness. Oh my god, is this the food vat? Is this the goop that everyone is eating? Is this the Soylent Green pipe? Sordid goon. Looked like it hurt. This creature gains 12 damage and 20 armor pen. Damn, dudes. I'm just hanging out in the slums? Whoever would have thought the rogue trader would come down here? That's the rogue trader. Vat guard. Shreds of rat carcasses and yellow-green moss stew in the sludge along with other unidentifiable ingredients. It is the goop. Here, I need to rob these people. If you've got goods, they belong to me now. Okay, believe it. Henry's come to visit.
Embrace true power.
Would you look at that?
I would look at that, but I don't know what you found. Stealing some poor peasant's ration cards? Oh. A shrine. A book of war prayers. This wielder deals 10% more damage to xenos and demons. If the wearer is dogmatic, the bonus is doubled. People have managed to set up a small altar at which to pray. Aha, I actually have people who need that. Maybe Cabela is dogmatic? Sure.
Let's seize the opportunity.
Hell yeah, dudes. Loot 'em and scoot 'em, brother.
Over there.
Over there. Lower Imperium 30%. It's times like this I wish I had the monocle Jay has, because I would be able to get a fellowship test on Imperium instead.
Failure stings.
Oh. All right, blindfolded old man. Is this the pet of pestilence? It might be. These people don't have enough? No, they have too much. Food replacement company called Soylent because the founder was a massive nerd and he knew exactly what he was doing. Want to buy Dark Heresy in the Expanse but can't? Don't get an email verification? Well, they're not out yet, so... Old man in pitiful rags listens intently to the sound of your footsteps, a stinking piece of cloth wrapped around his eyes, with greenish pus oozing out from underneath it. The old man lays his trembling hands protectively on the heap of junk that serves as his bed as well as his table. An empty beggar's mug makes a clinking sound next to his withered leg. Blindfold. This guy could be an unsanctioned psyker. No, sorry, a sanctioned psyker. Clayto's whole body leans in the direction of the crate sitting next to the man. Solomore directs your attention to them. Some curious things stored there. I suggest you give the good man a shake and see if he is as harmless as he appears. What happened to your eyes? Void rats gnawed them out while I was asleep. The sewer water my wounds were washed with was infected. Pain became a stinging feeling that won't go away, and it only got worse. How does an old man survive in a place like this? People help me. Good people. Not so good ones, too. Strip of dried ration meat into his mug. Could this be a true miracle of the Emperor or just another dream? What's the junk you're making such an effort to hide? I heard the sound of your footsteps. The creak of your well-made soles against the metal is pleasing to the ears. You walk with confidence. You have everything you need. Don't take everything from this old man who has nothing. Lord Captain, the only thing he has to share with you is a long list of infectious diseases. May I offer you a breathing mask? Abelard produces an actual gold-encrusted mask from his pouch. The skin shrunken around the man's haunched skeleton is almost translucent. That heap of junk is likely to be everything he owns. Yeah, I'm Rogue Trader Biggest Von Balancius. You'll show me whatever I tell you to show me. Rogue Trader? I've waited so long hoping one day to serve you, Lord Captain. The No! Pathetic fool, that's our secrecy gone right down the shitter. Folks, we're gonna have to make some noise. Leave no witnesses. The common worker, her face so nondescript it looks almost scrubbed off, is aiming a weapon at you that she produced out of seemingly nowhere. The only thing I know who produces things out of seemingly nowhere are gene stealers.
Your existence is naught but ashes. Cross them.
You've been ambushed. Now the foreman at least is on our side. Dude, this is a lot of Atguards. Now the good news is that they all kind of suck.
Running binary override. The scriptural prognosis is favorable.
And thankfully, we have like plasma weapons. These guys are a pretty obvious choice right here to me. Oh no, they all get buffed when I kill their buddies. Gains a bonus to weapon skill and ballistic skill equal to the sum of all living allies' perceptions. Oh, okay. All right, Foreman. Nice. Good power swing. I hope you live, Foreman, even though you're doing a really bad job, and I'm going to execute you even if you do. Snipers? Oh, buddies. I got bad news for you. I got real bad news for all of you.
But of course.
Zap. You know, I should have probably just cast Evil Eye and I would have killed them all instantly, but...
All right.
That's wild. That's so much damage. Who are the guys who just shot me from up above? Oh, he's just over there. All right, there's only 2 guys left. He's one of them. So I think I'm actually just going to blind him. And hope he misses. Yeah, that was the right choice.
The ruin beckons. I will triumph.
Then we'll do some buffs.
No guidance.
Not that we need to. And I will give Cabela a free turn. And she will do some sick backflips. Or, well, she'll do one sick backflip.
As honor ordains.
You get another bonus turn.
Running by nearest right.
Swing and a miss. But now Cabela gets to go. And she can do anything she sets her mind to.
Come, the other side awaits.
No problem. Just begging for a crack grenade. Your assassin. Yeah, I mean, it just turns out that psyker damage was all I needed. It turns out ripping the warp open in the middle of your ship is the answer to most of my problems. Are you all right, Lord Captain? Those cutthroats didn't hurt you, I hope. The foreman's prosthetic leg has been shot and he carries his weight awkwardly. The locals and the enforcers here call me the foreman. I have no other name. I like how everybody here just has their title. You recognize the shaggy red beard and the keen black eye. This is the man who was watching you during your encounter with the enforcer and the station worker. What the throne's name was that? Those freeloaders believed in the tales of Nemesite. As it happens, I've complained to that Captain Fresco about some idiots who have been painting pictures on the walls, inciting people. What did he say? I've got everything under control. Had I known it would come to this, I'd have nabbed those sods and thrown them into the pestilent pit myself. Now we'll be pestered by enforcers to no end. Nemesite's this story, the chap that wanders the lower decks helping the poor who can't earn a living. Well, you're in charge here. You're going to answer for what happened. Fair enough, Captain. It's what I've done myself. Any last words? Let my repentance be a lesson to each of you faithless dogs. We must serve the Lord Captain with our words and our deeds and our lives, but our nature is corrupt and we have failed in our service. I repent and commit myself into his lordship's hand. Whispers of reverent awe can be heard from every level of the slums. Hundreds of eyes converge on you and the kneeling foreman who bows his head, half closes his eyes, and prayers quietly. I kind of want to let this guy live now. That was such a good speech. Like, he wasn't like, I'm going to cause a big ruckus. He was straight up just like, I will honor you in death. He also saw me kick those guys. Grade A bull? Our nature is corrupt and we failed in our service. He was watching us earlier. And then he didn't want us to watch him. Yeah, no, let's kill him. Melt a gun for you. Your Lordship, please, a ration card. Scrappy auto guns. This is an honor for us, Lord Captain. Didn't I just kill this guy? What? Did I forget how to kill somebody? This is twice that we have killed people recently and that they have somehow lived. I did press the kill button, right? What are you cooking in them vats? The soup is made from mold and technical drain water for 200 years non-stop. Gross. For those who can't earn a ration card, I feed them in exchange for services. Sometimes it pays off, sometimes it doesn't. Some complain about the taste, of course. What were you doing near the marketplace? Watching one of my workers take a beating. I feel sorry for the lad, but there's nothing I could do. I've stuck my neck out in the past. I'm not doing it again. What's life like for workers down here? They toil day in and day out for the glory of the ship. The rest of the time, they do their best to survive. Faced with hunger, the more deranged of the enforcers. Void, leprosy, flyers, floods, noxious fumes. In a word, it's a decent enough life. If you work, you survive. If you freeload, also survive. If you're clever, well, the Emperor wills it. Do you know where the temple is? Can't get behind their love of death. I'm too fond of living. Well, I'm not going to give them all my ration cards. Those are for me. A stolen autocannon? With 8 rate of fire? I don't even think I have anybody who could use that. No, correction. I have one person who can use that. And I bet they do a lot of damage with it. Is that even good compared to the heavy bolter? I think it has a higher rate of fire, which does scale really well with the heroic feature that Argenta gets, because it means she gets 8 free attacks in a round. 3 cost burst fire. That's very expensive. Single shot 2 AP. There's definitely some builds you could do with that. I got no doubt. A gun even a blind man could hit with. Oh my god, you're totally right. Gross old slime everywhere. Man, we are stocking up on ration cards pretty well. At least we got that going for us. We've had a few opportunities to use these ration cards, but I'm going to wait until we can use them for bad things. I can't see. Consequences of a terrible crash on the monorail half a century ago are still affecting the efficiency of this stretch of the railway. Jumping Joseph, I thought I just blew myself up.
The world trembles beneath my feet.
Did I not just see... Oh, Cabela disarmed it. Crumple scrap of parchment. Give the gift to the one who sees nothing but hears everything. Then the truth will be revealed to. That's obviously the blind old man. My god, I'm the one who can't see nothing on this map. God, if you go... I like this, like, panorama that they do here, but it's almost better if it was, like, a locked camera. Uh-oh. Stench of decaying bodies creeps into your throats and lungs. Pascal says, I am registering sources of infection, requesting contact with contaminated areas to be strictly prohibited.
Intriguing.
Ooh, yeah. We got some good nasty up there. Stop being so difficult. What's the thing your cultists say? Your time has come? Or what have you? No, please, don't push me into this giant slow-moving fan. No! How about being everywhere at once? How about we take a stuff to the marketplace? We'll get to eat soup tonight. Soup. Well, I guess let's go talk to these guys first.
Uncover my path.
The specimens before you must be the most repellent inhabitants in the compartment. They're covered in sores and bald patches, glistening pus, and the stench of unwashed bodies brings a tear to your eye. One of them glowers at you and grunts, "What you want?" Would have been an amazing clip material if your whole party got ran over by the train. Yeah, that would have gone down well. It does seem like we're gonna find the marketplace pretty soon. I think it might have been where that vat was, to be honest. I'm the Lord Captain of this ship. On your knees, scum. The outcasts look at each other and burst into hoarse, gurgling cackles. The Lord Captain at our shithole, and I'm St. Drusus. Here's my regalia. The man exposes an armpit riddled with boils. You detect a note of hysteria in the vagrant's laughter. The fingers of many are convulsing, trembling, and there's a fearless way they look at you, an indifference to death too strange and unnatural. What are you, muties? Invalids? Mold eaters. Folks who have no place among the lowest of the low. Some are born that way, some are driven to keep them from spreading the contagion. The foreman won't let us near the vat. The enforcers try to shoot us on sight. It's our fault that we were born into a terrible place. We're worms in the rotten belly of this ship, fodder for disease. The outcast licks his lips and you see a tongue studded with small, undeveloped teeth. This is no disease, but an obvious mutation. Warp lore test. The longer you stare at the man, the more deviations from the human form you detect. Wretches such as this, disfigured by genetic abominations and disease, are the perfect breeding ground for true corruption. I can see no one ever shows you kindness. Give him a coin. Don't expect thanks. You gave it to me freely. Got it? What crime did you kill the man for? For the crime of wealth. He had rations and fuel cells and we'll trade them for porridge. You need medicine and food? I can have them brought to you. Will you now? We know your kindness. You'll douse us with poison and leave us to die so we don't sully your ship. All right, I think I'll leave then. But I'm taking these goods.
Embrace true power.
Our voices have shut up and are giggling quietly every time you touch something. How about we head back and wash our hands with soap 10 times? Yeah, I want to leave these nurglings on my ship. Absolutely. Death cultist. With a knife. One who calls himself a dead man, having exacted his revenge on the spinners, lies motionless with a poisoned needle in his neck. And a smear on his lips.
This explorator is blessed.
Oh, cool. Now we can elevate her back up.
The world will bow.
Take the pup out, leave stream on. Half blind, take it easy, my dude. Do you think this is Owlcat just making people that pick nasty options have to choose between living with a bug or writing a report that puts into text your horrible choices? I think they're generally pretty okay with putting that stuff into words. So they're also known for like having a lot of bugs. So it wouldn't surprise me if things are just like a little bit bugged. Trap.
Fortune smiles.
2
on us.
traps.
An ill omen. Just as I was taught. The vizier. Would he be proud? Am I?
Operation successful.
If worn by a death cult assassin, whenever the wearer kills an enemy, that enemy explodes in a fountain of blood. The cells nearby are covered in blood as if affected by blood file. What is blood file? Who knows? Martyr's Bone Charm. If worn by a death cult assassin, when the wearer gains a stack of blood bless, they also gain 10 toughness. Lose all temporary wounds and increase their melee damage by the same amount for 1 round. Well, Cabela, have I got good news for you? Because you're a death cult assassin. You're going to get these. Fancy new exploding death gloves.
Do you see that?
I don't know how I missed that.
Just as he ordained.
I gotta go back there, but that's fine. We can go round a bit. Uh-oh. Lord Captain spent too much time in the pestilent pit, and now his skin is covered in inflamed blisters. There must be someone on board who knows how to purge the rogue trader's body of this infliction. Whoopsie. Medicaid. A severe but curable disease. 1 vial of medicine administered in the early phases would have saved him. Well, I'm sure we'll find someone who knows how to cure it. A figure in decaying tatters is rocking to and fro, muttering indistinctively in several different voices, occasionally breaking into hoarse laughter. As you come closer, she freezes and slowly turns to look at you. An ugly, rusted mask covers her face. Are you here to take Zadana to the other side? No, 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 no. You're just wandering around in the dark, looking for the light, but it's nowhere to be found. Do you not see it? That's a repulsive place. Do you live here? She scratches her neck nervously. You note her deformed fingers ravaged by an unknown disease. Here where the unfortunate meet their undeath, here a dumping ground for the bodies of the undying one rejects. Here where pestilent dwells, Zadana welcomes them all, talks to their ghost. Here where I live? Yes, that sounds right. Talking to ghosts? Yeah, you can't hear them? They don't like it when people come here. This woman is clearly ill in spirit and body. Best to leave her be. Old Zadana. Zadana the outcast, Zadana the mad, Zadana the disaster, the cursed, the spurned, a ghost of the past, a shadow of the present. Only the undying one knows. He alone. Why are you wearing chains and masks? You haven't escaped from the enforcers, have you? These are gifts. The chains clink to announce my approach for others to hear. They hide, fearful of becoming like me, afraid of losing face. Is this another part of the Song of Trailing Blood? Yes, yes, the song. Listen, listen. She wandered an eternity in dark, yet was consoled, web foretold. Undying one's blood secrets glowed, a light to guide her faithful fold. But threads must end, and so the spider did what was owed, her life and death to ship bestowed. And you'll see if you learn to see. Look into the darkness, look into the darkness. You are gradually able to make out the outline of objects hidden in the shadows, rotting corpses, rough walls, the twitching death throes of the infected people left here to die. You see no light in this place, only more darkness and despair. You don't see, do you? She shakes her head frantically and starts tearing off her rags. Strips of her decaying flesh peel off along with them. Ugh. You will not see until you become like me, the flesh and blood of this ship. How do I become the flagship's blood? I'll show you, then you'll see the true light. Come. Plunge into the ventilation shaft and become the ship's blood.
Intriguing.
Intriguing. What is going on with this quest right now that it just keeps updating over and over again? Take the final step and become the blood of the flagship, or abandon the path of the Matriarch Spider and his search for the temple. How about I quick save? The rotating blade promises nothing but a senseless and brutal death. Slipping past them will require unreasonably precise calculations or blind luck. While listening to the air currents, for a moment you think you hear Zadana's whispered prayer rising from the depths of the shaft. Requires dogmatic follower or heretical follower. Call upon the ruinous powers. Or I could just jump because I'm really good at jumping. A confident smile that is not your own appears on your lips. The rumbling blades no longer seem dangerous, but the prospect of jumping becomes a mere trifle. Obviously, I'm going to ask upon the ruinous powers for some help. I like this. A chanting shaft. Ha ha hooey. Temple of the Bloodspun Web. Wow, so do you think that that person that they pushed down into the shaft isn't actually dead? They're down here hanging out with everybody? Uh-oh, I'm by myself. I'm not good at being by myself.
Power.
Sick. Metal as hell. That's so metal.
Let's seize the opportunity.
You gotta give it to Warhammer sometimes. Athletics. But why would I not just walk around here? Is there loot? Well, there's loot up here. Go down. All right, we'll take the athletics check. Might as well fail every check while I'm down here.
Favor
Oh, it worked.
The world will bow.
More goods. Oh man, this is a goddamn labyrinth here. Large holes in the ceiling. The spinners have dismantled the bulkhead to expand their temple even higher. Oh, I see. Okay.
I tread a path unexplored.
The geometry of this place is very confusing. Ah, okay. We climb down here. Death cultists hanging off the walls. Tangles of improvised bridges constructed from beams and flooring stretch even higher, not unlike a web. As if it was a living organism. I wish I could send my servo skull to pick up stuff for me.
The world trembles beneath my feet.
And down again. Can't believe Abelard didn't throw himself into the shaft. Who's going to announce us? I know, right? Also, Cabela's not down here. They were all just like, we're going to let the rogue trader do this on his own. He did call upon Zinch to guide him, so... Oh, sick. They're vampires. Cold stone sarcophaguses serve as their beds. I didn't realize we were joining a vampire cult.
Embrace true
Turning the
power.
corpses of the departed into sacred altars for their blood-anointed congregation. Oh yeah, there's Cabela. Well, I just want to look around. Giant spider webs in the corner. Underneath the ancient relic is a stone plaque with the inscription, if you value life above duty, you are not worthy of life. Vizier Geophranius. Can I just take from this chest? Whenever the wearer makes a melee attack, they regain a wound. Well, that's obviously going on Cabela. 5 generations of spinners have guarded this relic so that it may serve the worthiest of the Domini. Its time has come. Oh, everybody's down here. The whole gang is in town. Crimson torrent flows from the statue's
Powers
hand.
unseen, uncover my
Oh,
path.
what else we got? I'm gonna pick up all the loot before we do anything else. This guy's just standing sentinel. Yada-dee-yada-doo. Why would I want to go up here?
I shall not be deterred.
Fatigued.
Perfection.
Not fatigued. A one-handed sword that grants you Crimson Rage. The wielder can suffer damage equal to 25% of their maximum wounds to regain an AP. This can be used multiple times as long as they have at least 50% wounds. The Spinner's Blade. I don't think these are very good weapons.
The world will bow.
But I guess we'll find out. All right. We got a quest to do. O plus blood on my face. B place for the legs.
Triumphant as
The smoke
always.
tickles your nostrils, making you slightly dizzy. Such substances are known to induce visions and hallucinations. Test succeeded. Here he is. A frail old man, gray beard tinged with blood, folds his wrinkled hands in a ritual gesture. His body is covered in scars, some old, some fresh, his eyes sewn tightly shut. His mouth is cleft at the corners, making his jaw seem eerily snake-like. Lord of the Ark walked the paths of unlife in the footsteps of the web's very first spinner, and the servants of death bowed before him, for the Domin is the giver of life. Yes, truth like a stream pours from your lip. We welcomed him as the tenants demanded. A servant of death who sees beyond the threshold, a spider who spins a cocoon at the end of this thread. Adira shakes her head and clutches her temples. Sorry, it just came over me. I didn't say anything too weird, did I? A thin blade appears in the old man's trembling hands. Although his arms are stiff and look like they can barely bend, in the next instant the dynasty symbol is etched on his forehead, dripping blood. With a brief motion, he flicks the blood off his blade and several drops land on your face. The Bloodspun Web welcomes its new lord. I am the vizier. For many years we have waited, and now you are here. Why is it you invited me here? Death whispered your name and commanded us to honor you with a sacred ritual, but only inside the temple can the spinners perform it. Yes, we're glad he's reached this place. We are glad to serve. What do you mean you've waited for many years? It was not long ago that I made acquaintance with this cult. As I delve into the divinations from the flesh and blood of the departed ones, I turn to a relic most ancient and priceless. It is his tarot. Inherited by the cult from the Matriarch Spider who first spun the thread, one of the readings I did back when I still had the strength to leave the temple and usher souls on their final journey. That was when, in the intricate tangle of destiny, I glimpsed our meeting. But when we would meet, alas, was not revealed to me. So we waited year after year, and now the hour has come. So you just walked my companions in here the normal way while I was forced to take that jump? The spinners guided them along a different trail. You had to take the step, for only you were meant to become the flagship's blood. There was no reason to test the faith of those who followed you, for their burden was for their lord to bear. Vizier, some sort of title? It is the name given to the first spinner, the one who has learned the wisdom of the tenets of the web in order to lead others. I have a duty to instruct and spin bloody threads, but in all other ways I am as much a servant as yours and anyone else in the temple. How did you manage to erect an entire temple in the middle of the ship without anyone noticing? Our followers once inhabited the tunnels between the bulkheads until the threads of fate were tangled and a domain of ages past gave us this compartment. We set ourselves to building spacious halls where the shadows and images of him and the spinners themselves would whisper of death. Thus the temple you see began to change with the succession of viziers and the cult's generations. We're building it still, slowly but surely. I expected greater respect from one who eagerly anticipated a meeting with the rogue trader. Struggling to suppress the tremors in his body, the vizier bows as low as his back allows. Forgive us our poor manners. Our intention was not to insult you. You are the first visitor from the upper decks we have had in great many years, and the customs of long-term servants of death are somewhat different. Rest assured, there is no disrespect in them. All right, we've walked the path of the Matriarch Spider. What now? The Song of Trailing Blood tells of a path fraught with trials. By accepting it and setting out on the path, you pass the first one, the trial of resolve. For not everyone is prepared to shun their fear and doubt and embark on a search of the unknown, a search for death. The trial of compassion was the second one. You passed it when you put yourself, albeit briefly, in the service of another soul, a man suffering from burns. For the choice between life and death is to be made by only those willing to take responsibility for the pain of another. Wow, we left him to die. But is that heresy? Oh, there's so much heresy. The third was a trial of justice, and assuming the role of judge for an apostate of our faith, you declared the right to influence the balance of life and death that the errant soul had upset. The fourth was the trial of duty, for duty always leads to death. We are prepared to render our duty to the Undying One, fearless and accepting of our purpose, which is to serve him. You too have proven yourself prepared, and the 4 trials have brought you here. You forced me to undergo all this just to share your wisdom with me. Are you out of your mind? He bows his head guiltily. Such are the tenets of the web. They are all they have ever known and the only life we have learned to live. The path you walked was a gift from the Undying One, so we decided it was how we were to honor you. His eyes seem to peer into your face, studying it. Then he turns away and speaks to an empty space. Peace, my brother. The time has almost come. I see your eyes are sewn shut. Are you blind, or is this another ritual? I was sighted for much of my life until a disciple of mine violated the tenets, and I realized how blind I had been. A lesson, but a bitter one. To look with one's eyes alone is to be easily fooled, but the heart cannot be lied to. Such is the truth, and such was my choice. I sealed my eyelids with the geas of true sight. Now I see more and better. Who are you talking to all the time? I see echoes of those who came before us and those who were with us, but have since crossed over to the other side. My brothers and sisters raised by the cult, I hear them from beyond their deaths. They share their wisdom. I heed them. The other spinners they hear not, for that burden is mine to bear. You sure that's not just a bunch of warp echoes talking to you? The tenets command us to be prepared for all trials, corporeal and spiritual alike. Are you prepared, Doman Biggest Turg? His mouth closes, but you can hear his whisper. A prickling sensation in your fist is making you increasingly anxious. You raise a hand to your cheek only to realize you cannot feel it. You look at your palm and see a few smudged drops of blood from the vizier's blade. Uh-oh. A strange, serene calm envelops your body. The fatigue subsides and you seem to be floating in the air, seeing things you had not noticed before. The shadows in the corner taking on shape and color. The subdued lumen lights playing on the cultists' bone masks. Are they really masks? Their tall, lean, empty-eyed wearers might as well be dead people. A chill runs down your spine. Thankfully, we have Pascal with us. What is the meaning of this? Are you... I rolled an 100. I failed a 3% chance. You intend to ask a question only to find that the seemingly simple idea you had in your mind has eluded you. Instead, you are now reflecting on who it is that decides the fate of the humans in this world and whether or not people are actually masters of their own free will, since everything is ruled by the will of the undying emperor. Look around the temple. One moment the walls of Death's Sanctum grow infinitely wide, the next they're so narrow it's hard to breathe. The floor dances under your feet and the undying emperor statue seems to shake its head threateningly. What happens now? That is for you to tell me. You look at the vizier and his trembling frame seems small and insignificant. A single step is all it would take to crush him, but the visions are starting to wear off and now the old man towers over you. The keen gaze of his sealed eyes is studying your every movement, waiting for a response. Either initiate me as a servant of death, or his insolence has crossed all reasonable lines and you will be punished for that. I want to be initiated as a servant of death because I want to corrupt these guys. The vizier ponders your words for a long time, whispers something to the empty space behind his shoulder, then shakes his twitching head. Our thread is repellent to you, Doman Biggest Turg. You proved it by walking the Matriarch's path in your own way. It is your right and we respect your choice. However, only one who accepts the essence of death may become its servant. You accept your own essence, and we dare not burden you with our dogma. For years, we have maintained fealty to the Domini. We have collected sacred symbols and relics. You are the first in 3 generations of lords and ladies to descend into this sanctum. We are grateful. We are uplifted in spirit. Hear our exultation and accept this gift of a vestment sewn from the bones of his faithful and with the threads of death. Light armor, the spinner's ritual vestments. 10% dodge if not in cover. Plus strength bonus wounds. Now, which was foretold will come to pass, the ritual of descent is complete. Now be this temple's guest of honor and rest a while. Okay, so if you actually do the correct answers to all the tests, they give you obviously a different situation here. Like they won't initiate me because I'm not dogmatic. No way. Well, Cabela, you're obviously going to get this. Agility bonus, dodge, and parry against melee attacks. Strength bonus wounds. Actually, this is not good for you. I could probably make a decent argument here. This would actually... This is equal to your armor, but with no dodge penalty. Strength bonus wounds. What about Lexi? Sexy Lexi here. No, because he has special dog abilities. You, maybe? Dodge if not in cover. I mean, obviously that looks great on you. You're wearing special tech armor. Heinrichs, maybe? No, my Heinrichs is also agi built, so. Prefer to find a Gene Studio cult than the ruinous powers. Emperor's not really leading the Emperor anymore. He's basically a zombie on life support. Yeah. Who is in charge of the Empire? Nobody directly. Like, there's a bunch of commissars and generals that are leading various crusades. Some of the, all of the Adeptus Astartes, like the primarchs of all the Adeptus Astartes, they basically run their own thing. I guess the Inquisition, you could argue, is in charge of the Imperium. You got initiated as an iconoclast? Quite possible that you could do it as an iconoclast as well. Yeah. Some of the options were... I think just doing it as a pure heretic doesn't work. Argenta, no, she doesn't have a lot of strength either. She's also edgy build. Basically nobody is strength build for me, so... I might just give it to Adira for the drip. She gets an extra 5% armor. And she gets an extra 10% dodge when not in cover, which is pretty much all the time for her. Yeah, I think that's fine. It also looks really good with her mask, so... Church sends armies and fleets around. The ecclesiarchy, everybody's kind of in charge of their own thing. Rowboat Girly Man is the Imperial Regent and runs alongside the High Lords of Tira. Yeah, I guess probably, yeah, High Lords of Tira would be in charge. I don't know a lot about Tira. Honestly, I don't know a lot about the people in charge of the Imperium itself.
Intriguing.
I know a lot about Xenos. I can tell you a lot about Xenos, and I can tell you a lot about Chaos. All right, now what do we do? Heinrich needs to go to Kiava Gamba. We're going to need a cure for the rash.
The world trembles beneath my feet.
You are the shield, you are the shadow, you are the blade, so be them. Your tradition and rituals are rooted in blood and death. Many are frightened by that. Many are blind, even with their eyes wide open. People look at things without seeing their essence, which makes them easy to beguile or frighten. We adorn the tunnels with the bones of the righteous, that they may guard our faithful against corrupt deeds and thoughts. We use the blood of the unholy ones for divination so that we can see danger. The blood of the martyrs is our wine, for their suffering makes us stronger. People are afraid, but only because they see death as the end. Death, however, is the beginning. Death has many facets. That is its essence. That is its beauty. What are the tenets? I want a clear answer. Every thread ends in death. I see he is still full of questions. Let's give him answers about our ways. What is your supreme commandment? To give and receive death, and to fear no twist or turn of fate. One who is afraid of death is already dead in the soul, waiting for the end, afraid to accept the inevitable. A life of fear is disgraceful. The true service is in dedicating oneself to death with no regrets. What do they say about human weakness? The smallest stain of rot is enough to ruin the most beautiful woven pattern. Weakness is a gateway onto the soul, one we hold open for new failings. Kill your desires and your weakness will die along with them. What's your secret to fighting? I cannot share the full wealth of my knowledge. It's taken me a lifetime to learn. Be guided by reason, not fury when you fight. Seek no pleasure in killing. That is how you win. All right, well, I guess we're done here then.
Let's seize the opportunity.
I picked up a ring for her as well, right? Yeah. Death Cultist says, let me show you the way. The way to what? The path to where the lay people dwell is complex, web-like. Let me show you. Take me to the enforcer in charge of this freight line hub. No one believe you're going to have that rash going to church, by the way. Winning equals killing. I mean, yeah. In the Warhammer world, winning and killing are much the same. You there, Edoc. Were you in a shootout? There's been a raid on a local gang. We finally cleared out the scoundrels who were smuggling goods to neighboring compartments. I was attacked. I'm gonna only ask this once. How did wretches from the lower decks get their hands on a crate of auto guns? Auto guns. Purple spots appear on his face. Warp, take me. They couldn't have bypassed the security of a munitions train and walked away with that cargo without help from someone in the enforcers. I executed one retrobate who was trafficked in weapons not too long ago, but even that moron wasn't so greedy as to arm the rabble with auto guns. There's another who dishonors the enforcer's uniform. I will find the Megan and shove their head under a passing train. It seems to me that there's a mutiny brewing in your compartment. Threat of mutiny is always there, Lord Captain. We've uncovered several cells over the past month, although admittedly, none of the traders were armed with auto guns. They will pay dearly for stealing our munitions. Enforcers have been appropriating ration cards from workers returning from their shifts. Why is that? Are you short on provisions? The compartment has just enough food to avoid starvation, Lord Captain. That's why the enforcers are making sure that no serf has more cards than they're supposed to. They used to rip out people's tongues for it, but I've reduced the punishment to simply beating the thieves and confiscating all their cards. The orders are to give those cards to workers who are starving due to a lack of work shifts. Not that it helps them much, but it's better than nothing. Are there enforcers guilty of misappropriating the confiscated items? Yes. Do those get caught stealing receive severe punishment? Absolutely. All right, well,
Powers unseen.
what am I going to do with all these food stamps? I didn't find any heretics to give them to. Loot. Loot. I missed loot. I missed 2 loots? If I just go to the exit, will these loots... No, I know they won't. Oh my god, this loot's like right at the end. Can't believe I missed 2 loots. What a fool. Burn them in front of the starving? I mean, yeah, that's not a bad idea, honestly. Oh, this is the loot behind this door that I can't get to. Unless... Can I see through that somehow?
Agent, where is your book of judgment?
For missing the loot? No. We have a new book of judgment, Marinero. We got our new judgy emotes. Can't believe I'm coming all the way back here for what is sure to be like nothing, basically. Like a flame grenade or something like that. Foreman, the burnt man, loot, and Edok. Yeah. Some jewelry. I mean, jewelry is pretty good, so. Today alone, we went from 42 grudges to 49, which is a lot in a day. And there's been a lot of grudges today. Make no mistake. Some days you got to get some grudges in. Missing a full copy of the entire book of judgment. Oh man, is that what's in that door? I'm really sad I'm missing that. So there's a character in the Gene Stealers who wields 3 pistols, and they're often seen as a Robin Hood like figure in the lore. They wear a bandana, they have goggles on their head and a big scarf. Gunslingers. And I'm seeing a lot of stuff down here that says gunslingers. Also, every time I discovered in a Warhammer book that someone pulls a pistol out of nowhere and nobody understands how they pulled that pistol out of somewhere, it means they have a third arm. Which means they're a Gene Stealer. All right, well, look, we haven't been to the Voidship Shrine. We might as well pop down here. So many grudges. So many grudges. What do we got down here, Johnny?
Not one sacred codex of the Lex Imperialis in sight. How can you call this place a chapel if it doesn't have his words?
And
Well-
what kind of prayers would people say here then? May we never miss our tithes shipment date. May we forever abide by the great Solutio whatever is. I shouldn't even joke about it. I bet that's exactly how you pray.
I like that we're making fun of him a lot.
The world trembles
beneath my feet.
Shards of the Unknown Crusade Warrior Twin Blades. What do we got here? Ancient looking chain sword without fuel rests on a weapon rack. Skeleton inside the sarcophagus is holding a spherical object gleaming with gold. I want that gold.
The world will bow.
Offer a prayer. I don't know about that.
Perfection.
Among the antique weapons, you spot the maul known as Ferrum Fatum. Legend has it its head split when it was cracked open the skull of the Loathsome demons Branazar the Flayer. The Rex Regalia. More fancy weapons. A lanky initiate is leaning over the cogitator, an expression of extreme mental effort on his face. Grant me understanding, master. Grant me wisdom. The world trembles beneath my feet. The floorboards have been mounted incorrectly. Who are you? What are you doing here? Claudius, junior clerk. I sort recordings from the shrine confessions to pass on to Hydra clergy. Is there a way to find out who made what confessions? There is not. That would undermine the usefulness. The first prototype wasn't anonymous, so those confessions might as well have been carbon copies of each other. Everyone was impeccably diligent and pious and whatnot. As soon as the machine spirits started keeping the name secret, the parishioners opened up. Tell me more about this confessional. Our parishioners come here to repent, to share their innermost thoughts and observations. The sacred machine records all confessions and alters the voices beyond recognition. Do I want to confess? I mean, it's a heretical option, so I'm kind of curious to do it. The initiate leaves you alone with the machine. You pour out all your unholy secrets and dark desires into the hapless mechanism, describing your profane accomplishments in great detail. After the confession, not a trace of guilt or shame remains, only a satisfying sense of impunity. It appears you're having difficulties. Nothing escapes your notice. As it so happens, I'm struggling to categorize 3 peculiar confessions. I wouldn't have dared tell you about them, but I think they might have been left by senior officers. These confessions are far beyond examples of pious conformity. I dread the very thought of dissent or heresy poisoning the minds of some of the most eminent members of the crew, but I cannot change what I heard. I cannot share this with anyone but his Emperor's anointed, nor can I allow anyone but your lordship to listen to these messages. You don't think Agent is writing the judge about the lack of the Book of Judgment? It takes up a whole hall of judgment on Terra, which is forever being expanded to accommodate new judgments, and is massive to the point that bespoke organisms are used to keep the lesser halls free of rot? Oh my god. I wonder, do like the squats also have a Book of Grudges like they have in fantasy? I don't know enough about the squats in Warhammer 40k, with them only just recently coming back. Alright, what makes you think these confessions were made by senior officers? They're well-spoken, meaning they're used to addressing an audience. Perhaps they issue order and are vested with power. After categorizing so many confessions, I've learned to notice the subtle differences. All right, let me hear them. Alleged dissent in pious doubt. One question has troubled me for years. Why are some destined to perish in the warp, while others must go living and preserve the memory of the dead? Worthier and more luminous souls have been lost, and yet I am still here. Light static is distorting the reading, but you're confident that the speaker is male. The orphans on the ship have been provided with the bare essentials, but every so often I consider increasing their rations and ordering more sets of clothes for them. That will not replace the families they lost, but it will improve their lives somewhat, especially given that the ship has enough resources to cover that comparatively trivial expense. You determine the voice is male. That could be High Manufacturer Torum Janrock. He'd be the only one who'd be like in charge of that. You've heard the bridge officers gossiping that High Factorum has taken personal charge of the orphan. Let's go. Look at that, man. I passed the commerce test before the game did. Lop-eared kleppas display a high degree of socialization, both among their kind and towards their owners. The animals adjust well to the void ship's lower gravity, since it's similar to the homeworld's condition. Lop-eared kleppa meat is edible, should necessity demand it. Seems to be a woman. Who do we have women in the bridge? A Vox speaker? I'm curious to know who left these confessions. I will seek them out. I will leave you to your concerns. At least we know some people to talk to. I imagine the other one was probably Confessor Adalbert, the first guy. Or if not Confessor Adalbert, then the other... We only just recently met him, but he's like another priest on the ship. If you succeed the test in real before the game, you also succeed in the game. Judges spend their entire lives litigating single judgments. Some take hundreds of years to litigate. So many pieces of legislation, clarification, and precedent. Even the changes made from time and the judgment was filled to the point that it's being litigated. Oh my god. The Emperor protects your lordship. Are you here to pray, or do you have mundane matters brought to me? A strange rash broke out all over my body. Can you help me? An affliction of the unclean, your lordship. Those who have abandoned his light and shunned all care of the body as well as spirit. Allow me to cleanse your mortal flesh with the seeds of corruption and a sanative prayer. I need medicine, not a sermon. To heal the body, you must first heal the soul. What do you do on this ship? No vessel that abides by the Imperium's law can sail the void without a spiritual guide. Even a smaller sized ship that does not have a member of the ecclesiarchy on board entrusts all matters of faith to a layperson who is a staunch adherent of the creed. It's expected as a rogue trader's flagship to have a confessor who comes from a line of reverend servants. Entrusted with caring for the reliquary chapel and the dynastic crypt, conduct liturgies, consecrate the ship's bay, strengthen the crew's heart, yada yada yada. Do you visit the shrine's confessional to repent as the other officers do? I always find time for penance on the mornings. Why do you think some are destined to perish in the warp while others must go on living? An irrelevant question. His face takes on an expression of faithless wisdom and calm. Our fates are in the Emperor's hands, and he does as his plans required. We already know it's not the other guy. Tell me about the dynastic crypt. Blah, blah, blah. It's a source of power, symbol of dynasty. The Valencia's crypt is where rogue traders and their most loyal servants are laid to rest. People confess to you. I'm interested to know the thoughts of some of my subjects. Ours is a throne-flaring flock that regularly leaves Vox recordings in the confessional housed in the eastern part of the reliquary. This allows us to maintain constant watch for heretical tendencies. We can observe the earnesty of which our parishioners render their duties, as well as any dangerous dissent brewing in their minds. The initiate is responsible for sorting the confessors. He would be honored to offer you access. I must take my leave. Am I still a heretic? Yeah, I sure am. I don't think I like went down in points by confessing. Offer a prayer? You recite a prayer. I gotta keep up appearances. Should I just keep this suspicious rash? It doesn't really matter, and I feel like it marked me from Nurgle. To another compartment, to another compartment. A power ball rests inside the glass. I am wrath, I am the cleansing. Whoever wields me walks in the footsteps of Furia.
We are the spearhead of the Imperium.
Buttons.
Did you want something?
Huh?
Sometimes you consult the appropriate treaties on Tactica Imperialis and weigh every step. Sometimes, though, you just fire your biggest cannon and save the day.
Green.
My whispers crave entertainment.
Not green.
Look no further. A nice little stroll.
Furia. Furia is what I have to spell. F I A. Where's the U? R U.
Whisper and be heard.
Your seneschal is always there.
F
Blood is my life. Death
U
is my duty.
Give us a target.
R
How may I serve the dynasty?
I A. Puzzles.
A revelation was sent to me.
Power hammer. Maximum push distance of the small is 5 cells. Collision damage is increased by 50%. Oh, it sucks. Our other hammers are way better. Package this hammer up and send it off to some pirates. Officer's deck. Half fine, welcome back, my dude. Little warm out. Take out the slack line post work. Ooh. Some good perk vibes. Yocasta Sourback. Barks at the enforcers gathered before you. His lordship the rogue trader wishes to handle the investigation personally. What investigation? The 3 officers before you have been tasked with conducting the investigation. The first, Captain Klein, is a veteran with a record of quelled uprisings of mutant abominations in the colonies. Captain Nervi is young, but she's already preempted several mutinies among the ship's rabble. And then Captain Hrotko. His interrogation skills deserve credit. He knows how to instill fear and respect firmly in the minds of the riffraff. Their drilling is good. Their service records are excellent. Let's see how they perform in the field. What are your findings thus far? We discovered a worker's corpse, mutilated and desiccated. We're still looking for the man's identity and position, but the surgeon's report has confirmed that among all the blood that was pumped into the bath chamber, the blood-carrying mutations was indeed his. Oh yeah, I forgot about that blood. Push 5 is pretty nice, yeah. The workers from the nearby decks have all been checked for genetic aberration. The muties identified with are all the norm. They're being rounded up for interrogation as we speak. Even taking into account the neighboring decks only, that constitutes hundreds of people. How do you plan to question them all? Our interrogation techniques are broad and varied. Nothing loosens the tongue like corporal punishment, beatings, mutilation, torture, public executions. When combined with psychological pressure, such methods work wonders. You did not answer the question of how you intend to organize this process. So far, this looks like a fire into the Obscura den. Although I don't know what else one could expect from such amateurs. Our methods may not be up to the highest standards of the Adeptus Arbites, but they will get us the results we need. I swear out on my honor as Master at Arms. Yeah, you know, I'm fine with barbaric methods. Do you have any working theories? The muties are plotting. They've been breeding like void rats, so they're getting cocky. Most have wanted to infect your lordship with their plague. It wasn't an attempt on the captain's life, it was a threat. The rabble are planning to revolt, so they're trying to terrorize us. Soon you will drown in blood. Insurgents pride themselves in such metaphors. Captain Hrotko has believed that it was a work of Voidker's surviving cultists, but I believe this is a warning rather than a threat. We need to establish is who is trying to warn us and of what. We need to investigate the body. Once we've ascertained the dead man's identity, we can locate his associates and narrow down the number of suspects. Captain Clyde is in charge of examining the corpse. The body was discovered on a suspended platform not far from the room with the armillary sphere. Take a left once you're out of the mess hall, your lordship. Go along the balcony. The corpse is on the next platform after the one holding the Infernus Guild suspects. I'll show you around the scene once you're there. The Infernus Guild? Yes, your lordship. They were undergoing interrogation like the rest. The scum refused to comply, so they were isolated on a separate platform. They're a rotten bunch. They must be involved in this. All right, let's begin. I'm mostly here to loot, though. I totally forgot about this bloodbath. I don't know. We've been swimming in so much blood lately. It's hard to keep sense of it all. I like that we have the option of actually coming back to this room now, though. Also, I don't think this was here before. Goods. I love goods.
I tread a path
AMSEC.
explored.
All right. More goods. Man, we're just whipping everybody around here. This worker was beaten with skill and cared not to damage his joints. He is suffering, but he can still work for the dynasty. So funny.
Let's seize the
So dark.
opportunity.
I know what's down this way. Oh, this is like a huge area. A lift to the Lord Captain's quarters is hidden behind the metal plating here. On the day of Voiker's mutiny, you saw Lady Theodora leave the officer's deck this way. Oh, cool. This is actually like the rest of your ship from like the opening missions. Kind of wonder whether or not we should go back and like go to the bridge to get rid of all these abilities. Strength, toughness, agility, movement. Strength, toughness, agility. If we have to make like athletic checks, we have a bit of a problem, but otherwise we're okay. Desiccated body is horribly mutilated. The worker's ruined body lies in a waxened pile on the platform. His face is crushed, his throat open, and his body is riddled with cuts and laceration. Above it stands Captain Klein, the dim light filling the lines on his forehead with a shadow that bleeds down his furrowed brows and into the pits of his eyes. The scalpel in his hand trembles faintly. It might look human, but what's inside is all wrong. Unholy, irredeemable, and wrong. Have you started the autopsy yet? I have, but haven't. But I will get back to it in a moment, your lordship. Something the matter? You look pale. I suppressed a dozen mutant revolts under Argonas for Lady Theodora. I've torn the freaks to pieces myself, but to open one up to sink my hands into their impure guts infested with mutant blight. I've seen this aberration utterly pervert the human form. The thought of it touching me is disgusting, infuriating. You will indeed, Captain. If you like it, I can recite a few passages from the regulations to enthuse you. Should we do it? I was drenched in his blood. If the mutations were contagious, I would have mutated by now. Nah, give me the scalpel. I'll do it. Let's get our hands dirty. We haven't cut anybody up for a while, so... let's get digging in this body. The skin and bones part and the stench of rancid meat hits your nostril. Klein empties his stomach over the deck railing, fighting the urge to vomit yourself. You peer into the vile mass of subhuman entrails. You refuse to submit to fear and revulsion. One foul corpse is nothing to someone who has triumphed over his own fate and achieved the impossible. You look at the mutants inside without a moment's hesitation. Word of my past deeds has traveled the entire Koronus Expanse and far beyond. Vestigial ingrown arms wrap around what looks like a vile semblances of familiar organs interlaced with scaly bile-colored sacs. It's Gene Stealers, I told you. Riley Penguin, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the agency. Your knowledge of xenos is enough to infer that the murdered man may have been subject to xeno influence. True human form has not simply been distorted, but mixed with something strange and profane. It is as if you are dissecting a seed that should have evolved into something more complex and alien. Judging by the damage, the most brutal wounds were administered posthumously over the top of those infected. while the victim was alive, as if someone deliberately wanted to make it harder to identify the victim and the cause of death. The truth is, the killer acted quickly and with surgical precision, then suspended the body upside down to drain its blood. Well, I'm definitely not going to pass this lore Imperium, but... Twisted abnormalities of the mutant's insides makes you wonder if he can even be considered human at all. As your hands find something lodged in the victim's gullet, someone has stuffed a black feather into the man's throat. Difficult to say why. With some difficulty, you're able to discern a mark on his neck almost ruined by the wound across his throat. It's the tattoo of a skull with a valve in its mouth and a string of letters. I've finished the autopsy. It was foul. Your lordship, I must commend your fearlessness and insight and apologize for my weakness of spirit. My shameful fear prevented me from doing my duty. Shame on you, Captain. An officer's duty is to be support for the Lord Captain, not the other way around. If that burden is too great for you, you should consider resigning. I speak plainly, veteran to veteran. Sanitation work is an excellent means of hardening those of tender character. When the investigation is complete, you shall join the mutant corpse disposal unit on the lower decks. Yes, that sounds good. Klein lets out a ragged breath and then draws himself up straight, speaking in a clipped tone. Yes, Lord Captain. Someone stuffed a feather down his gullet, but why? A raven's feather is hard to come by. I'll investigate where it came from. I mean, we have a cyber raven right here. Someone tried to conceal the victim's identity and cause of death? You have a keen eye, your lordship, but why would someone do that and then leave the body in plain sight? They could have just disposed of it. This has to be something more to this whole bloody business. Bloody business. You turn your attention to the floor print around the corpse. There's no splatter, no gobs of flesh, no bloody footprints, and yet you know there's no way to butcher a corpse like that without getting dirty at all. There's a tattoo on his neck, a skull with a valve and a few symbols. Symbol of the Pipe Warden clan that maintains the sewer system. SP stands for Senior Pipe Warden, followed by his identification number. Genervi is working on the work log cogitator. She can use it to learn the victim's name from his number. The cogitator is in the second nearest maintenance room. You notice a few drops of blood that you somehow managed to avoid being trodden on. The blood does not appear all that fresh, but it is not yet fully dried. Curious. All right, this is like a huge whole section. I wonder about like running back to the rest of the ship.
The world trembles beneath my feet.
I think the best thing we could do is, as we prep to continue on our investigation and figure out what's going on with gene stealers on our ship, we save it for the next video. And we cut it here. Cliffhang it. Cliffhang it right on the corpse. YouTube, we'll see you back here next time. Until then.